There is a blessing in every increase. Are you in the house? There is a blessing in every increase. Did you realize that before God gave man any other directive, before God gave man any other instruction, before God gave man any other responsibility, the first thing that God said is, I pronounce upon you the blessing of increase. It is only after this that he planted in Genesis 2:7 a garden eastward of Eden, and he put man there to keep and tend it, responsibility. But before he gave responsibility, he first gave a blessing. As a king unto the Most High God, when you walk into the cities, the powers that be should know that you arrived. I have said it since my teenage years. Presidents will be glad they met me. Before I even knew what it meant, I was saying it. Because I have been made a king unto my God. God takes pleasure in when you prosper, God is pleased. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that we do not stumble on prosperity and increase. We do not stumble on success. It just happened. I just woke up one morning and I became successful. I don't know what happened. I was just going along and something happened and I became, the devil is a liar. You must understand that it is not, I'm not talking about the increase of addition. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm not talking about the increase of multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. I'm not talking about the increase of addition or multiplication. I'm talking about an exponential increase. I'm talking about the multiplication that cannot be defined. I'm talking about the kind of multiplication that people will not be able to explain. I'm talking about the kind of influence that people will wonder, how did this happen? How does a convicted prisoner become the prime minister of a nation? How does a woman without mother or father become a queen in the king's court? I'm talking about the kind of multiplication. Not that you met the governor will come looking for you. Increase. I'm going to share the secret in 1 second and explain. 1 sentence. Increase occurs when a question is answered or a problem is solved. Talk about the promotion of Joseph in Egypt. But the bottom line was there was a problem in the court of the king. And he had wise men, necromancers. These were wizards. These were people that did voodoo, that did juju, that did jazz. So when people say in this that, the problem is there are too many witch doctors all over the place. There were witch doctors then. But when Joseph showed up and there was a problem, even the king said that the witches could not solve this problem. But Joseph showed up and said, this is the solution to the problem. And we talk about his promotion, but we don't talk about the problem he solved. I'm coming your way. Hello. Daniel was in Babylon. He was a foreigner in Babylon. Again, there was a problem in the courts of the king. And Daniel appeared before the king. And the king said, I have heard about you, that the wisdom of the gods is in you. Therefore, tell us what to do about this matter. And because Daniel was able to respond to the issues of his day, hear me, he reigned in Babylon as an institution. He reigned under 3 Babylonian kings, under Nebuchadnezzar and Darius and Belshazzar. Daniel was still there. Kings were coming and going, and this man was still there because he was a problem solver. Am I talking to someone? Stay with me. David was in the valley of Elah and went to give food to his brothers. He was giving food and attending to his brothers in the army when he heard Goliath boasting. And David turned around and said, this is a reproach to the armies of Israel. He said, what shall be done to a man that will deal with this guy, Goliath? In other words, what will be done for a man that will solve this problem? And immediately he was given an elevation in the sight of the whole nation. So much so that the women were dancing and calling his name, and the king was angry. If you solve problems or answer questions, ladies and gentlemen, even your enemies will make peace with you.